I actually went out with someone recently, but I thought we were both Virgos.
Oh.
And he was like, oh, I'm a Libra. And I was like, oh. Yes, I don't know.
If you could choose one person, I'm going to ask you all individually. If you could choose one person to get on a track with and you know that tune's going to be a hit, who would it be?
Chris Brown, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good choice. Chris Brown is now out of the window, Mac.
Out of the window. No, be a hit. I'm not thinking from personal preference. I was thinking for everyone else.
Right.
I'll probably say Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Nice.
Good choice. Good choice. That's a hit. That's a hit. Jodie?
I think Drake.
Okay, Star Signs and Horoscopes. What's your view?
I think in terms of how we see it, sort of in the newspapers or magazines and whatever, there's so many layers to it, actually.
Tonight you're going to meet John and you're going to go on a date. And it's gonna give you
No, it doesn't work. We were talking about that earlier, actually. So you have your sun sign, which is like, I'm a Virgo, so I'm September baby. Hey. But then also, it was three of us here.
3 Virgos?
Yeah.
What happened last night?
Sagittarius.
One part Sagittarius, this is what I was going to say. So you have many different layers to it.
Okay.
So your sun sign, which is like your month of birth, your date of birth, which is your Virgo, whatever for me. And then you have the second half, which is your moon sign, which is sort of how you are and how you deal with emotions and feelings. And then you have your ascendant, which is how people perceive you.
Wow.
So you can't always look into, you can't look in the newspaper and think, oh yeah, that is completely me, because that might not be you today. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can also do like birth charts online, things like that, and it can actually give you a proper reading, basically.
Here's my view. I believe in the characteristics of star signs.
Okay.
You tell me your star sign, I'll tell you about yourself.
Yeah.
Or I'll tell you characteristics that you share with certain horoscopes.
Right.
I believe that I don't believe in the horoscopes.
Mm.
So tonight you're going to meet Matthew, and Matthew's going to rub your leg and all of that. I don't believe in that. But certain star signs, like my star sign, for example, we're adventurous. I'm an Aries. We're adventurous. We are stubborn. You know, there's so many things that go with it. Do you believe that, for example, stay away from Geminis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I said, well, I'm quite part Sagittarius,
Yeah.
so that's where a lot of my ambition comes. I'm very fiery, adventurous as well.
Very fine.
And then also, so I don't mix with air signs, other people that are a bit flighty, can't make decisions. That gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
So I do believe in that, the characteristics of the star sign.
Okay.
Would you ask straight away what's your star sign? Or would you kind of
Figure it out.
I just asked, when's your birthday?
That's it.
That's why I asked, what's your birthday?
Oh,
Like,
check it out.
I actually went out with someone recently,
Okay.
but I thought we were both Virgos.
Oh.
And he was like, oh, I'm a Libra. And I was like, oh.
Oh.
Yes, sign. Oh, I don't know.
Doesn't that taint,
I don't know
taint
if I
the
want
judgment
to
already?
Libras are cool. They're balanced.
obviously with in line with their star sign?
Yeah, but remember, it's only partially. So it depends on what the other aspect.
The good thing about Libras is they're not judgmental.
And they're very charming people.
I understand that certain things are compatible, like certain personality traits. So if somebody is very indecisive, like you said, and you're a very decisive person, sometimes you just feel, oh, you have to take the lead and just make a decision. But it may not be the decision that's best. It's just, we need to make a decision at this point.
If what was meant to happen, what was predicted to happen, so to speak, didn't happen, I'd find myself getting frustrated with it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to delete the app now. Because every day, literally every day, wake up in the morning, what does the horoscope say? Okay, cool, I'm going to meet Dave today, and he's going to be the love of my life. Cool. And then go out into the world, 24 hours later, I did not meet Dave. And I was like, well,
Fuming.
that's it. Don't want to do this anymore. But in regards to when you're talking about specific star signs that you have either tried to date or been in a relationship with that you know don't work, I have had that kind of experience where I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I should kind of avoid particular star signs, only because of the grief that you get.
If you know that someone is of a certain star sign that you are not aligned with, save yourself the time.
But there are always exceptions to every rule. But
this is my opinion. This is my opinion.
I'm learning.
Imagine a guy comes to you.
Yeah.
Let's say you're out, so on and so forth. He's come to approach you. He's lovely. You've forgotten to ask his birthday or what star sign he is, or so on and so forth. And you find you get along, and then you later find out he's a Gemini.
Oh Lord.
Would you seize all contact? Just
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Again, it's about the person as well, isn't it? So I'd give it a chance.
Don't do it.
However,
Oh my gosh, but
we already know how they are, innit? So what's the point?
Yeah.
But I'll give it a chance. I would. If you're kind of deep in, it's too late. Sorry, you're a Gemini. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
That doesn't work, does it? It's not fair.
Okay. Pick your brain on this one a bit more.
Okay.
I'm a strong believer that whatever you put out into the atmosphere, you're going to get back.
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer that however you treat me I'm a mirror of how I treat you. What's your view on it?
Yeah, I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
I think as well, people mirror each other, and it's not just the positive stuff; it's the negative as well. Yeah. So you might think that everyone you meet is your mirror, and then also it's like if you don't have something that other person has, you see it. And oftentimes a lot of people feel insecure about that. They can either roll with it and think, okay, how can I best learn from Mike, for example?
Sure.
Or they can try and belittle you depending on what their own belief system is. So I strongly believe that. What was the other part of the question? That what you put out is what you get. 100%.
Yeah.
If you're constantly give that negativity, at some point it's going to come back to you.
Okay, for example, me personally, energy is everything for me.
Yeah, same.
If I feel bad energy, even if a conversation, if we're having a discussion and I start to feed it to a negative, I'm walking away from the conversation.
Same.
I'm not young anymore. I don't have unnecessary arguments. We can have a debate. We don't have to agree on everything, but there's ways to discuss it without it being negative.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, do you believe? So many questions. All right. Do you believe that when you meet someone for the first time, you know if you're going to get along with them after like 2 minutes?
Yeah. Wow. But then also I'm a person where I don't give people a chance straight away. I have to observe first to see how I'm going to get on with people. And then if I feel like, okay, we can get on, I'll go straight in. But then if I start to see like little flaws in your armor, smallest thing, I'm out.
Oh wow.
That's it.
I'm not there yet. I'm still studying. Yeah. I've gone into Buddhism. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not practicing, but I read about it. I read about
spirituality.
Oh boy.
Just let me get there.
Spirituality.
Yeah.
I read about it, and I reading a book now called The Power of Now. It's everything right now. And they talk about enlightenment, the power of meditation, so on and so forth. Do you believe that, or do you believe in dual religion?
You don't have to be a religious person to be a good person, for example, but those people need those guidelines to be able to function and be that kind of person, because a lot of people have tempers. There are really good people that have tempers, but their religion is above that, so they just feel that it's above me now, so they can't get angry to that point. They're just like, my God will take care of this.
Obviously, you don't have to state your religious preference, but do you feel that in this day and age that religion is an old school thing?
I feel like some of the ways maybe old school that maybe need to be brought forward and
that's what I mean.
like definitely there's
some of the way of thinking
definitely
and so on and so
some
forth.
things that really need to be
So
looked at and say.
Do you think religion should align itself with time?
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I think so, because things have changed so much now, culture wise. It feels like if you want people to align themselves into the religion that you're in, you need to be current and aware of what's going around in the world outside of your religion, just so it can apply to the new people that come to you.
Because even if you went to a Buddhist, they will tell you, this is not religion. I'm not religious.
Right.
You know what I mean? They won't even tell you any information. They'll tell you to go and meditate.
Right.
Yeah, they say it's a way of life.
It's a way of life. That's it.
I actually met a Thai monk in Thailand.
Oh yeah?
We sat with him and he basically expressed that this is a way of life, it's not a religion.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think there's I guess they have like these different the 31 ways. I think it's like a wheel.
Yeah.
And they live their life based on those rules.
Okay.
Basically. So it's not a religion per se.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So obviously when I speak to some Christians, they're like, oh my God, how can you dabble in things like that? And I do have meetings with Muslim brothers as well. We just we have an agreement where we're not trying to turn each other or
Right.
convert each other and so on and so forth. But we discuss, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you come from your standpoint and we understand each other. We all have a God. We're all trying to better ourselves. It's not about your religion. Your religion says this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You know what I mean? So I take word with the word. I take a problem with the word religion. Where do you stand with this? Do you feel, again, like I asked Mike, do you feel you can take parts of different religions and so on and so forth?
Yeah, I do. That's kind of what I do in my spiritual practice. And then also with religion in itself, it's different routes.
She did the quotation.
It's different routes to the same source. Everyone's trying to get back to God anyway. It's just different ways of doing it. And actually, if you look in the Bible, it talks about meditation. In Psalms 1, it does say that. But a lot of Christians feel like, oh, once you meditate, negative things will come in. Blah, blah, blah.
Why is that? It's so
You know, they do feel like that. But I don't ascribe to those traditional, their old systems to me. I don't really, believe in that.
Yeah.
I do believe in taking different things. It's what works for you because spirituality or religion is experiential. It's what works for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I know people that prayers don't work for them. Maybe lighting a candle works or positive affirmations might work.
Absolutely.
But I find that meditation and prayers work for me because my prayers is asking God a question or the universe, whatever you believe in. And then when I meditate, I get the answer to that.
For example, one of them is, what's it called? Where you live together, cohabitation.
Okay, yeah.
Do you feel like that's another one that's...
I feel like, these days I think it's, considering the state of the economy and people can't afford to, be on their own, and it might be easier to live together before you guys can get married and all that stuff. And it gives you a good opportunity to get to know each other in that setting as well, because you might feel like, I can't actually live with you. This is.
I told you about the toothpaste. You can't take it.
They're a Christian couple, so they did the whole thing of waiting until they got married, to then engage in.
And then he was dead. Oh my god, he was dead in the bedroom.
No.
Oh my god.
No, they struggled. They struggled with intimacy because they didn't know what to do or how to be together.
Was she his first,
in that,
or was he her first?
I'm guessing so.
They were each other's first.
Yeah, I would just
Oh, no,
but the thing is though,
not
not baffled me. They were able to be intimate, but the connection wasn't there. They had a child and all that stuff, but they were still struggling with
intimacy.
And owning their desires to want to be together, to want to initiate sex with each other. They still felt very restricted and unsure and certain, and he made the point of the church should be able to prepare you because you've waited so long. You don't know all the ins and outs of what's going to happen once you get married. You've crossed that line. You're husband and wife now. There should be somebody or somewhere who can sit you down and say, okay guys, this is some tools you can use for you to go forward and have a healthy Christian sex life.
Does it align with how you feel, or is it
in what sense? How I feel? What, like my beliefs and stuff like that? Yes. There's so many connections to a person. So if you cut out the physical, what do you have now? Like their morals. Then you have their spirituality, how they help other people, how they behave when they feel someone else is not watching them. So that's how I mainly judge people. So
because sometimes you sleep with someone and you just feel like done, you feel drained. Sometimes you sleep with someone and you're like, oh my god, everything's so positive. Especially with guys, they tend to sleep with a girl and then all of a sudden there's no more interest because there was no spiritual connection there in the first place. You've just gone on what you've seen.
Yeah.
So what's your advice on the transferring of energies? So the before the sleeping and after the sleeping?
Okay, I think there's like 3 different questions in there actually. So if we start with the sex one, if you're a deeply spiritual person anyway, you won't be sleeping with a lot of different people. And if you are, then you shouldn't be. Because what it is like everything's energy, like we said, and actually even though we have like these physical bodies, you actually have 4 different, it's very deep actually. It's like 4 different bodies outside of your physical. So you're your physical, your emotional, ethereal, your mental and your spiritual body. So your mental body is like 2 meters away from you apparently. So when you are sleeping or coming into contact with someone that's not on your level, basically it's what it is. It brings your level down. So if you have made that mistake, it's not necessarily a mistake. People do what they want to do anyway. But if you're going to sleep with someone, I'd recommend doing something like it's called a salt bath. Like religious people use salt to clear negative energy, things like that. You can just do like a 10-minute get in the bath with Himalayan salt, I think, and cleanse yourself. And you should be
We have a
around.
couple of events coming up. It's the Urban Extra presents Urban Acoustics, 6th of July. We do have the inSync Minds event on the 14th of July. You can catch Mickey, Mike, and Jodie there on the 14th of July. inSync Minds is going to be at Sync Pong in Moorgate. Just a reminder, next week we have a financial expert coming in. The Mola will be coming in to talk about budgeting, credit, and finance in general, how to save, so on and so forth. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.